ready for the case? Chris,
What's the case?
You ready for the case that SC could be better than I think a lot of us are expecting?
You mean the 23rd ranked school in the country?
That's right.
Give me definition of better.
That they're going to be interesting late into the season. That we'll be talking about them late into the season as something other than, hey, they got to find this, that, or the other, or whether Lincoln and Riley or not is up for the job. We're talking about
they're hunting for a playoff spot.
They're in
one
the
of
mix
the top
for a Big Ten title. They're hunting for a playoff spot, something like that.
All right, let's hear it.
Here's the case. They're ranked 23rd in the country in both polls, despite the fact that they have no clear-cut answer at quarterback. That means the rest of the team must be pretty good if you don't have any sort of quarterback prospects and you're still ranked inside the top 25. The new conference could work to their advantage in that the teams that they're going to be playing in large part are unfamiliar with them. I understand that could cut both ways, but a new look with new opponents, it's not like Arizona knows what you're going to do, Cal, Stanford, they know what you're going to do. That's it. Alex Grinch is gone. Danton Lynn is in. That is a massive upgrade on the defensive side of the ball. Here's the biggest reason why. While the Big Ten is a much better league than the Pac-12 was, SC's schedule in year one of the Big Ten is actually pretty favorable. They only play 4 ranked teams, preseason ranked. That obviously will change. But right now they play 4 ranked teams, 2 of them at home, 1 at a neutral site. They only have 1 true road game against a ranked team. They have LSU in Vegas, neutral. They've got Penn State and Notre Dame at home at the Coliseum, and they go to Michigan.
Michigan's the big one of all.
They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Washington. They don't play these teams that potentially could give them a hard time. About as easy a path as you can hope for in the Big Ten is what they're going to get this year. Get off to a good start, get a little momentum.
A quick second. They're at Washington.
Okay. Washington's unranked.
Yes.
Washington's unranked.
Yeah, they do have that game.
They do
Michael
play.
Penix.
Mm-hmm. No Michael Penix, new coach, Jed Fish. But in the think about it. You could get Ohio State. You could get all these teams.
Oregon's top 3, top whatever they are.
They're both top 3, right? You're talking about 2 teams that would be very unlikely that you're going to beat them. This is about the best draw you can hope for in this league. All of those things together, get off to a good start, get a little momentum, and all of a sudden, I think we're talking about this very differently. Whereas if no quarterback, the defense was still the same, you had those extra games inside the conference, you'd been in there for a few years and gotten smacked around. That's one of those things that I think we're going to have a much better feel for a couple of years from now, how they stack up. If they're going to sneak up's the wrong word, but if they're going to have a little bit of a strategic advantage, it's going to be in this first year.
I think
that's the case for it.
I think sneak up's okay because I think.
Can you sneak up if you're SC? You can sneak up if you're Oregon State.
I'll tell you why you can sneak up if you're SC. You could sneak up because nobody's really talking that much about you, and when they are talking about
certainly
you,
not optimistically.
I was going to say when they are talking about you, they're not making this case of watch out for SC. I think the other piece of it too, and I think something to keep in mind here. Lincoln Riley's coming off of. It's a bad season for USC. Any way that you can look at it. The fact that they are a little bit under the radar, the fact that they're not coming into the season with these expectations that you're top 10. I get that the brand says USC, but they're not looking at USC the way they would if they were a top 10 program. If they were coming off, hey, they just won the Pac-12 and they did this and they did that. So there could be a little bit of that. Now, I think, and I know you've said this a couple different times, this is not how SC fans look at SC. You can look at a team one way, you could look at an organization or a franchise or a university one way, but then there's the reality of it. This LSU game, I feel like has such implications for USC. I know it's just game 1. I know it's an SEC school, but doesn't it feel like if they lost 27-24 against LSU, it's not a bad start to your season. People can sit and say, what are you talking about? This is SC, this is this. I don't really care about that. If they beat LSU, it's a complete surprise. But even if it's a game against LSU, and you could kind of start selling yourself on, we can hang with this SEC school, let's see what we do with everybody else, I think that'd be interesting too.
I don't think it's a huge surprise if they beat LSU. It's going to come down to the run game against LSU. LSU's got a soft defensive line. Here's the thing. USC didn't run the ball last year that much, and when they did, it was great because they had Caleb Williams who was running the ball.
They may have to this year.
Not only the only way they're going to win games is to run the ball. And then if you have a great quarterback performance, that's great. You got to run the ball. The O-line can be very good if they want to be. It's all going to come down to that with USC this year.
I also think I want to go back to your point about the schedule. The schedule looking like they're not going to face the biggest of the boys. You're going to have Michigan, and you're going to have Penn State, and you're going to have big boys like that, but you're not going to have the same amount because it goes back to the first year of Lincoln Riley at USC. They didn't play Oregon or Washington. They played Utah twice. And they ran through the conference. We're like, oh my gosh, look
and
at
Utah
USC.
beat
They're
them
so
twice.
good.
Twice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're like, USC is so good. They're in the Pac-12 championship game, and then the next year they get smacked in the face by reality of playing the big boys. So if they don't do well this year, that's a huge red flag as well.
Unfortunately, those games they are playing, they could get their doors blown off. Michigan, especially, obviously.
Michigan is the real. See, here's the thing. Michigan.
But that's more expected. The LSU game is the game where I feel like a lot of eyes on how you start the season.
Absolutely.
Because you already got all these question marks to begin with.
Keep in mind, Michigan is going to be the toughest game in their schedule. I'm not arguing that it isn't. But Michigan has a new coach.
Sure. No, you're right about that.
Their quarterback is gone. Blake Corum is gone. Their two best offensive players are gone.
Starting over.
Jim Harbaugh is a nutcase, but he's a great football coach. He's gone. LSU, too. Here's the other part. LSU is good, not great. LSU preseason 13 in one poll, 12 in the other.
Right.
It's not like they're a top 5 team.
And they lost their Heisman-winning quarterback.
They lost their Heisman-winning quarterback. There are opportunities here. Now, they have to be good. They're not going to stumble through these games and win it, but this is not a gauntlet like it could be. A gauntlet is what's going on at Oregon. A gauntlet is what's going on at Ohio State, where they've got their guys. The coach is still the same guy. They're running the same stuff. They've got first, 5-star recruiting classes. If it's going to be an opportunity, it's this one. And I love what Em said about 2 years ago when you go back and look at it, they didn't play the two teams that were, had the two best quarterbacks.
That's when they had success.
Yeah. And against everybody except for the one good team in the league that beat them twice.
And don't forget, USC is back here on 710 ESPN. You'll hear every USC football game, along with men's basketball, women's basketball, right here on the all-new ESPN LA app, which is still under construction. Don't worry. I know a lot of people are having technical. We're working on it. It's the beta test of the ESPN LA app 2.0. And, of course, you'll hear it here on 710 ESPN, your home of the USC Trojans.
Al, you said